Hi, I'm Chris with Greenleaf Landscaping. Today we're going to talk about your underground automatic sprinkler system. A lot of homeowners don't water their lawn the correct way, and it's mostly just due to that they don't understand what their sprinkler system is doing for them. So let's talk about what your lawn needs first. So your lawn prefers to have more water less often as opposed to less water more often. I use the conservewater.utah.gov website to tell me what's a good starting baseline for how much water your lawn needs. And what they recommend is 0.5 inches of water per irrigation session. So every time you turn your sprinklers on, you want to put out about 0.5 inches of water. So how much is that? It really depends on the type of sprinklers that you have and your installation. So let's talk about the types of sprinklers. So there's three main types. One is a spray head, which puts out a fan of water. These put out a lot of water. It only takes about 20 minutes with these type of sprinklers to get a half an inch of water. The second type is a rotor or an impact. So that's a single stream of water that you can see rotating through the full arc of the sprinkler, or the impact that's going through the same pattern, but it uses an impact function to move around, and it makes a lot of noise. Those take about 45 minutes to put out at half an inch of water. And the third major type is a multi-stream nozzle. Actually, my favorite type of nozzle, and it has fingers of water that rotate through the arc is how you identify that sprinkler. Those take anywhere from 60 minutes to 75 minutes to put out a half an inch of water. So on one hand, you've got the spray heads, which will put out a half an inch of water in 20 minutes, and the multi-stream, which will put it out in 60 to 75 minutes. So there's a big variation in how much water each of these sprinkler heads will put out. So now that you know what type of sprinkler and you have a good baseline for how long you should run these things every time you turn the sprinklers on, you need to make some adjustments for the installation. The first thing I'll talk about is head-to-head coverage. So a good irrigation contractor will install these sprinkler heads so that each one sprays to the adjacent sprinkler head in all directions. Sometimes you'll get an installation where they only spray halfway between, or maybe even a little overspray. So the 20 minutes, 45, and 60 minutes that I talked about is based on head-to-head coverage. So this one sprays all the way to this one. If you have less than that, you're going to need to increase those numbers to maybe 30 an hour and a half. Whatever it takes to get that half an inch of water. A couple other things you should think about is sprinklers on a slope. You're going to need a little bit longer duration. If it's in the sun all day, maybe in the sun and the wind all day, it might need a little more time. If it's in the shade all day underneath some trees, it might need a little less time. All right, so now you know about how long to run your sprinklers each time. So now you want to think about how many times a week that you want to run these sprinklers. Again, I use the conservewater.utah.com website as a baseline, and they will recommend at most 3 times a week. So if you're watering more than 3 times a week, you probably need a longer duration on your sprinklers. And that's only in July and August, the hottest parts of the year. When it's cooler or when it's wetter, they're only going to recommend 1 or 2 times a week. Now I say that, again, everything's a baseline. So if you water your lawn in accordance with their recommendations, I will say that you'll probably have a slightly yellow lawn. Again, it's a conserve water website, so they're trying to conserve water. A little bit of background on the type of grass we have here. So I would estimate that 90% of the lawns around here are a Kentucky bluegrass type lawn. So Kentucky bluegrass is a cool season grass. It grows really well when it's cool out, up to about 85 degrees. When it's above 85 degrees, Kentucky bluegrass struggles a little bit. The only way to keep it green is to put a lot of water on the Kentucky bluegrass. If it doesn't get enough water in that hot part of the season, it will turn a little yellow. That's okay. It's just going dormant. It's saving itself for when it cools off, and it's conserving water. It's okay for your lawn to be a little bit yellow. But if you want a lush green lawn during the hot parts of the year, just add a day to the Conserve Water website, maybe up to 4 days when it's the hottest in the season.